I don't write questions. I write answers.
This is excellent work. Excellent, excellent work. Ava DuVernay and Aunjanue Ellis-Taylor and the entire crew cast on this film did an awesome job at this. Now, I don't agree with everything in this movie. Which is to say, you know, I may not agree with everything in the book in terms of how I personally align with all of it, but facts are facts, and the way they addressed those facts and kind of told the story, I think was extremely profound, and I think was just a masterful work of a film. The script was really well done. I think that to take a nonfiction, factual, kind of like novel of kind of like facts and turn it into a story based on the author's life is a creative concept. And when you take something as nuanced and as dynamic as the caste system, you know, a hierarchy or a hierarchical system that kind of, you know, puts people's value in place based on, you know, maybe what they look like, what they are in social status, basically an inferiority versus superiority complex. Taking that and turning it into a story through the lens of somebody trying to uncover it, you're just gonna get a whole bunch of drama, the good kind of drama. I believe Origin is probably the most important film I've seen since The Sound of Freedom. In terms of the subject matter it's tackling is real, it's relevant, and it is just heartbreaking to know that this is the world we live in, right? That these things do exist, and that, you know, while dramatized, it's only exposing a reality that we may not be used to seeing because we're not living in it every day, or seeing it or engaging with it every day. Now, I do have my own thoughts from a spiritual perspective. I do think that people watching this film, even those who have made it to a degree, can see this as the only reality, negating the fact that there's also a spiritual reality for those who believe in Christ, right? Because we know this world isn't our home. We know this world is not our home. We know that there is something greater awaiting the believer, and that while we are here in a fallen world, sin is going to be sin, and the world is going to be what it's going to be, not our final resting place, and frankly an evil place. Now, that isn't to say we shouldn't fight against these things, or that we shouldn't advocate for justice, because our God is the God of justice. But it is to say that we can't put all our faith and our hope in this place, and so that when things don't happen the way we want them to, or the way we think they should, that we're now hopeless. What gives me hope watching this is to know that the Lord has an answer for the injustice of the world. The Lord has the answer for the stigmatization, for the caste system, and it is himself. He will return to judge all evil. One day, all this is going to be done away with. It's not an if, it's a when. So that gives me hope, especially when engaging with subject matter like slavery, and just the overall subjugation of human beings. I think the film tackles a lot of relevant topics, you know, from starting with, you know, the Trayvon Martin reenactment, down to having the actual Indian workers who, you know, go in and unclog the, you know, toilet systems full of fecal matter. Like, all of that I think was so relevant, and I think addressed tastefully as you can address it. And does, I think, start a lot of conversations, and gives some answers to like how we got here. It may not address what to do next necessarily, but it does address how we got here through the narrative of Isabel Wilkerson and her research to uncover that truth. I would recommend anybody seeing this film, you need, I think, to at least see it one time. I would say you need to see it one time. I think you'll benefit from, you know, tackling this in a visual narrative manner if you're not big into reading books full of facts and, you know, kind of dense reads, which, while they're good and while they have their place, for those like me who love films and love engaging with topics through film, this was the way for me to engage with some of these topics. At least the most effective, I would say. So, yeah, this film gets my endorsement for whatever that's worth. I think that it's just, it's one of those films that makes me not only proud to be a filmmaker, but aspire to be better and aspire to one day make films that impact people the way this one impacted me. I definitely cried twice. Now, I knew what I was getting into, and so crying didn't happen too much because I kind of knew what it was addressing. But there were 2 points in this film that definitely had tears streaming, and I had to kind of hold them back. After a while, I'm like, okay, stop it. We get it. You're emotional. The Trayvon Martin reenactment. That got me. I mean, they kind of bounced between showing his side of it and then showing the other side of it. But both times, it's hard to watch because you know it's happened. And there is, you know, Ava's gone on record saying that she got permission from Trayvon's mom and she actually watched it and gave the okay. And so, you know, for all intents and purposes, this is, I think, the most the most true to form reenactment that we can get, or we're gonna get outside of like actual footage. And it was tough to watch, but in the best way. It really made you have to engage with like the actual act outside of the macro issue of, you know, racism in this country. The actual moment of Trayvon's, you know, murder. It made you engage with that outside of, you know, all the extra stuff, which I thought was effective. The other part I cried at was Al Bright's story. To be 9 years old and kind of paraded around in the way he was, and to be isolated in plain sight the way that he was, to be 9 and have to engage with that is just, I can't imagine the type of humiliation he went through and how that stuck with him. I mean, obviously, it stuck with him enough to make something of his life later on, but to have to engage with such a humiliating moment at such a tender age, and believe that this is, you know, I don't know if he thought it was his fault. I don't know how he engaged in his mind at that early age with what happened to him. But watching it broke my heart. It broke my heart. And I mean, I'm watching it like, it's weird. Like, I'm watching it and I'm emotional because I'm sad, but I'm also like happy and proud of the filmmakers, and the filmmaker in Ava and how she kind of crafted that scene. It was so well done. So I was proud of the scene and how effective it was while also being affected by it. It was a weird kind of moment for me, but I kind of live for those because I do want to replicate moments like that. But man, just an excellent piece of art all around. I'd recommend people of all ages watching it. I heard someone say that they wanted this to be like part of the curriculums in schools, and I think that's a great idea. It's not so egregious that kids shouldn't see it, but it's also not so cookie cutter that it doesn't actually, you know, provoke a compelling reaction. So yeah, I think that's all I'm gonna say at the moment about it. It's really good. It's really, really good. So yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. Hope you have a blessed day, week, month, whatever it happens to be for you. And until next time, peace and deuces.